Greetings, fellow captains. In this new Map Tactics episode, we will tell you how to play effectively on Fault Line, a tricky location that allows for a variety of tactical solutions. Fault Line is designed for Tier 4 to 7 ships and supports the Standard Battle and Domination modes. The map can be divided into 3 sections: open waters in the upper and lower parts, and a big archipelago with many great places for ambushes in the center. The open water is definitely suitable for battleships, and a few small islands are excellent hiding places for aircraft carriers. For artillery ships, the islands in the middle of the map both hinder firing at the enemies and provide shelter from them. So battleships sailing at C1 to C3, C7 to C8, H1 to H6, or H8 to H10 can not only deal damage, but get out of enemy sight lines as well. These areas are also important for repelling enemy attacks through the highly vulnerable flanks or the center. However, don't get too close to the islands. There's a high risk of catching a torpedo. Now let's take a look at the islands themselves. The archipelago can also be divided into 3 parts: a group of islands at D2 to G3, a ring around the central island, and a strait between the mainland and 2 big islands at D8 to G9. The first part, where Base A is located in the domination mode, is a relatively open area. Providing enough space for large ships to maneuver, it is the only route where cruisers and battleships can force through the enemy defense with a relatively low risk of a surprise attack. However, destroyers may be hiding behind these islands, ready to meet you with a wide fan of torpedoes. So if you decide to advance here, make sure you scout E3 to G3. The central area is pretty interesting. At first sight, anyone who sails in here is doomed, as their ship becomes exposed to enemy shells. This is fair, but not for all. If a battleship or a large cruiser sails in here, she has little chance to escape. Nevertheless, there are plenty of islands that can serve as good cover for a fearless destroyer with long-range torpedoes. From this position, you can attack enemies at the very beginning of the battle. Consequently, the fighting from the center begins almost immediately, and the important mission for cruisers is to defend it without sailing inside the ring itself. Soviet and American destroyers will have an advantage over their peers in a battle for the center, while their Japanese counterparts are best suited for launching torpedoes through the straits. In any case, one destroyer will be unable to capture the central base without the support of her team. So before you rush to the center with your destroyer, take a look at the team's lineup. Try to understand what ships you'll face and estimate your chances for success. The island in the very center is a critical point. You can effectively hide behind it when capturing Base B in the domination mode. The third part of the archipelago, the large strait, looks quite favorable for an offensive. You can efficiently shoot along the 9th line and easily hide behind the 2 rocky islands. But enemy destroyers may approach on your side through a narrow passage at E8 to E9. In addition, the ships that slowly force their way through the enemy defenses on this flank will stay away from the core battle for a long time. So if you decide to break through here, team up with some cruisers and battleships and move swiftly. In general, cohesive team play is immensely important on Fault Line. The players who work together win virtually every battle. This map opens up vast capabilities for a variety of different tactics. We have told you about the general directions, but in every individual battle, players will have to make their own, sometimes difficult decisions. Until next time, Commanders, go get creative in battles.